Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Melanie Quant with Highspring. Welcome to Trust Tuesday, Ask the Expert. A lot of us are thinking about trustworthiness and AI practice, and safety by design is a big leader in a lot of our conversations right now. Algorithm fairness and real ROI. That's actually probably the big money question. So today we are joined by Maher Hanafi, the Senior Vice President of Engineering at Betterworks. We are so excited. Thank you, Maher, for being here today.
Hi, Melanie. Thank you so much for having me here. Happy New Year, and I'm so excited to talk about this topic. As we said earlier, I think this area of is becoming more and more interesting over time. There are a lot of exciting stuff around AI, but also a lot of challenges. So doing this right, learning and growing and achieving success for our organization businesses has been a big passion of mine. So happy to go deeper about this topic and talk more about it.
Yeah, I was so impressed when I saw you at an event last year and you answered the question around, how do we look at AI governance? And that really was like something that was very much in alignment with my modality. It's like you mentioned the committee approach, you mentioned, having cross-functional representation and making sure that companies are more cohesive. Here at Highspring, we care very much about agility for organizations. And we know that silos can sometimes break down those strategies. And it sounds like you guys have been very much futuristic in your approach. I'm going to ask some tough questions. But before we get into that, I like to get to know the human. Why are you passionate about the work that you do?
Yeah, I mean, how can you be passionate about the work we are doing these days in this space? Again, I've been leading engineering teams for the last 10 years. And I think my scope of work has been growing and evolving from very specific technical areas like mobile and web to more systems and platforms like backend and B2B enterprise solutions. And I think over time, there are always every couple of years there is a shift in technologies. There is a new innovation. There is a new thing coming up in the space that kind of shakes things a little bit more. And I think most recently, obviously, AI and generative AI in particular was a big factor in that kind of growing passion to innovate even more and build things in a different way than previously before. I started my job as a VP of Engineering at an AI company where I went to this as a challenge, but also as a great opportunity. I didn't have the background to lead, but I had so much hunger and initiative for me to just get there. And I start picking up and learning on my own and developing, whatever skills are needed, soft and technical skills to just get there. And that happened at the right time because a few years later, that was the generative AI kind of big event. And I happened to be at the right time, at the right place with the right mindset of I'm going to learn this. I'm going to get myself into this space because I really believe that there is a profound shift on how we work and how technology in general is being built, and the opportunities that generative AI are bringing. Creates this huge level of passion I have that I see a lot of opportunities out there on building technologies on a higher level and developing products and features that will kind of impact businesses and organization in a completely different way. So definitely very passionate about this. You will see it and through the conversation today about everything I talk about. And again, over the years I developed this and I deeply understood the concept of like really following passions and in growing following passions. I talk a lot about how I really took pivotal moments in my career to just adapt to career shifts and technology shifts. And definitely AI is one of these things where I felt like, okay, I'm passionate about this. I'm interested about this. I'm going to use that as fuel for my engine to keep getting better and keep achieving success.
In your experience, what has been some of the difference between a company really saying we're going to do the safety by design right versus just kind of more reactive checkbox compliance type approaches? What are some of the learnings that you've had with that?
Yeah, I mean, safety by design and security by design are not new concepts, obviously, but with AI, and because of the nature of generative AI the non-deterministic aspect, the hallucination risks and all of that, it became even more interesting and more important for companies to just build systems that are safe and secure by design. The difference between adopting this early on and adopting this later could lead to either success or failure. We all have seen the MIT report and reporting that 95% of generative AI initiatives are failing to achieve ROI. I consider a lot of these to be connected to safety and security. So I think, at least from my experience, what I felt made the big difference is really understand risk and build a risk tolerance like roadmap early on. Really understand what, when you are bringing these AI and when we are building these AI features, what are the possibilities? What are the worst case scenarios that might happen? Understand that early on, and tweak and build towards avoiding this at any cost. Two of the key aspects we have been really focused on at Betterworks are transparency and explainability. Like, everything AI is doing should have some sort of like an a transparency blurb, I would say, like an explanation and a clear path of why this result that was generated by AI is this way, what data was used to generate this, why AI thinks this is the best next action, or why AI rephrased or generated this piece of content. This is very important because, again, it addresses the safety and security issue early on. It helps us build a product and develop the product in an iterative way to ensure that this never hits like the threshold we have. But also for our customers and users, this creates trust. And you talked about trustworthiness. It creates a good trust into the solution that users can keep using over time. The issue with AI today is always this risk of like, undesired outcomes that you cannot control easily with the idea of how AI is being generative AI is delivering outputs. So understanding that, putting a high kind of expectation on what AI should deliver versus keeping it a little bit kind of up in the air and like, would love AI to deliver as much as possible, best outcomes and correct outcomes. And this is different from one area or one space to another. And why I'm talking about this more specifically, because in HR tech, in people-centric products, it should deliver the desired outcome. It should deliver safe and secure outcomes.
1,000%. Like consistency, right?
Consistency.
And accuracy. And I love that you really led with values too. Like, I think that you guys have put the due diligence into what you're saying is these are like our baseline. And baseline is these should be secure systems. And as you're compartmentalizing each of the features and the functions within Betterworks, it sounds like there's a way to get that ROI. Because if this piece works and you're doing the right regression, right, you're doing the right continuous testing, model evaluations, you talked about explainability. We all know that the EU AI Act is very much, a big brother right now, and that's a positive thing, right? And we have to figure out a model, algorithm fairness. Have you guys had like kind of some best practices around red teaming or human in the loop related to AI governance that you could share a little tidbit around?
I talked about trustworthiness earlier, and I think it's so important to understand that this will involve trade-offs. So you cannot achieve security and safety while keeping all your other metrics and other KPIs extremely high. It's impossible. So to make sure that you're meeting these governance and compliance and regulation needs, you have to trade off some of these things. Some of these could be latency, could be even sometimes like performance, could be cost. But if this is your top priority, to ensure that everything you deliver is safe and secure, explainable and transparent, all these are under what is labeled the responsible AI, right? Like, building responsible AI requires trade-offs. So it's very important to understand that from day one. If you're a business leader or a technology leader, or you are executing on building an AI, you cannot achieve everything at the same time while delivering secure and safety. The other thing is really understanding the whole pipeline of AI. Again, we know you should understand how the AI models you're using works. You should understand what data was used to train this. And if you don't understand this, your customers, if you are in a B2B space, an enterprise like ours, your customers will ask for this. So this is not just good to have. This is a requirement for you to understand the whole pipeline, even before the time, because you can go and pick up an open source model, or you can use an off-the-shelf solution for AI. But the requirements to really deliver that, unbiased, secure, responsible AI is to understand the whole pipeline. So it's very important to understand the data that was used for training. If you're doing any sort of retraining, fine-tuning, or tweaking, you should also ensure that that data is creating better outcomes and not introducing new bias. So all of these are very important. There is no perfect template you can get and apply to all of the features or the products you want to build. Every product, every use case, every scenario is different. So building that kind of AI nexus for you and understanding that point where things work perfectly for you is so important. And again, this is just this is not something I put together before we get into. This is more about the learnings over time. As you build things, you start building this understanding of how best to deal with building AI products.
Well, Betterworks is so lucky to have you. I mean, you're truly brilliant. I've learned so much in talking with you. I mean, what I'm hearing is you need to be agile, you need to be able to pivot, and you need to ruthlessly prioritize, because if you want that ROI, you need to design something that really meets the business goals and try to reduce that technical debt and try to get away from scope creep and not go buy every single, hardware that you think that you need, because you might not. I mean, we're already talking about chiplets. We're already talking about small inference. And so kind of like doing it like very methodically and also being able to ebb and flow. Maher, we're so lucky to have you, and we definitely need to have you back. For anybody that wants to connect with him, we have a QR code that's about to pop up. Please go check out Maher, go talk to him directly. And Maher, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Looking forward to coming back.
Happy 2026.
You too. Bye.